Okay. Seems like we're live. Now let me just see if I can get a link connected here. So that I can drop that in the Discord. So I'm gonna copy that and then open it. And that shows my current stream, okay. So I want to go to that. I also need to go to Discord. If you're in the chat, I can't see you yet. Let me see here. I feel like, oh yeah, okay, good. That means I should be able to see the chat now, which I can. That's good. Let me get Discord open. Okay. Okay. And I think that did the trick. And I have a chat to look at. So I should be just about good to go here. Actually remembered to put out a notification this time. And yeah, we have... we're pretty minimal here. I'm still working on the multi-platform thing where I have different setups for different platforms. I haven't done very many YouTube streams other than the Patreon ones back when I was doing those, so these are stripped pretty bare. But we're going to be working in Blender, and we're doing some stuff with the Leviathan, so let me bring this down a little closer to myself there. And let's see. So what I've been... why are we playing? There's no need for that. But what I've been working on here is the low poly version of the Leviathan. So there's the head, right? We got that. And we need to work on the body segment. And so all of this is like much cleaner mesh than we had before. Everything's fairly tidy. I watch the midnight stream making anything. How's it going, Melody? But yeah, so we got that. Those are all very nice looking meshes. I don't quite like how angular the biggest eye looks. So I might yet do something to smooth that out. But it's also probably not that big of a deal? I don't know. We'll see. But that's not our concern right now. We're working on this. And I've just about made it all the way around. But I want to finish cleaning that up a little bit. So it should be able to... ah, the sounds of the city. Staying up for 3 more hours so you can catch a comet. Ooh, that's cool. Well, I would say send pictures, but I'm going to say that's probably pretty impossible to snag. If you manage to get a picture, if that's even part of your objective, I'd love to see it. is this where it needs to, it kind of needs to split here, I think. So let me undo that. I say that, but your telescope has an attachment for phones. Ooh. Well, don't miss the comment because you're trying to set up something for the first time. But that would be really cool. There we go. Okay, I'm going to kind of tuck that in there like that. There we go. It'll be up for hours. It peaks at 4:31 a.m. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I guess that's quite a bit further out, huh? That's not going to be something that just zooms by. Because there's so much more distance. Hey, what's going on, Corey? Welcome to the art portion of today's Streamapalooza. Sure. Why not, right? And we are on probably the weirdest part of this this section of the mesh. So your timing is spectacular. You know what? Fuck it. Triangle. Oh wait. I'm not supposed to curse on YouTube anymore, huh? I feel like that's a thing. I seem to remember people saying that. I said, shucks it. That's what I said. YouTube auto moderator. That I'm sure is. You think I'll be okay, especially in a live stream? Okay. I hope that's true. It's rising from the east, so you'll be pretty unobstructed. Oh, nice. Very, very fortuitous. How am I continuing this? I feel like the triangle was a bad idea. I think the triangle was misguided. We did jump in at an interesting moment here. Yeah, but I think if I just do that, and then that, we're just gonna modify the shape of this a little bit, which is okay by me. I think it cares about clusters of swears or more extreme stuff, or putting it in the first minute-ish of a video. Well, fortunately, we've been streaming for slightly over a minute, I think. I don't know, what's it say? Oh, there we go. 9:05. We're perfectly fine. The city recently upgraded the streetlight by our backyard with blaringly bright white LEDs, so hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. Oh yeah, I have tweaked OBS slightly. Not much. And also, usually my Twitch stuff is over here, but it's gone. Because, you know, not Twitch. It resets your layout, or removes the stuff that's related to Twitch when you switch away from being connected to Twitch. Which I had forgotten about. Confused me for a moment. So that may be the change that you're recognizing, because I don't know how long ago I switched to the layout I'm using now. I feel like it was relatively recent, but I have no sense of time. So I very well could be completely wrong. 37 degrees, mostly cloudy. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, it's not like super duper cold. It was pretty cold there a little while ago. Yeah, the 37 is nice, and I've got the window open to let the air in, so because it gets we're on the 3rd floor, so it gets a little warm up here because our building is actually really good about keeping it cool, or I mean keeping it warm rather. So that means that the heat collects at the top of the building, which is not cool. You know? But you would hope New York would be on point about that. Your hopes would be dashed many a time. There are a lot of New York landlords. I mean, New York landlords are notorious for being pretty shitty. And we happen to get lucky with a pretty good one. They take decent care of us. New York is a city that prides itself on having gross water. Indeed. It makes the most optimal pizza. Okay, don't be weird about this. I've started watching Game Changer, which has been like spammed at me on TikTok, and I do like it. Oh, you can say oh no all you want. I like it. Oh, it's good, but it sucks you in like Whose Line? Oh yeah, it's brutal. No, it's already gotten as bad as it possibly can. I have signed up for Dropout. Because I wanted all of it. And I also want to watch Dimension 20. I've watched some Taskmaster. I do like it. It is very tempting to, you know, like actually dig it up. But I haven't gotten around to it yet. Melody, Game Changer is, it's from Dropout, which is an extension of College Humor. And it's just like a game show with improv actors where the rule of the game changes every time, and it's usually just like silly impressions and games and like mini games and shit like that. It's fun. You'll never forgive them for abandoning Drawfee? Was that? Am I just not remembering anything? I didn't know that to be associated with College Humor. That's news to me. Okay, this part can be a little bit sloppier. Because it's supposed to just blend into the next piece, mostly. You were a little tripped up by this being unlisted. Oh, it's not supposed to be. I forgot to change that. Hold on. There we go. Definitely not supposed to be unlisted. I guess it's because I used my template from the Patreon streams. How are you supposed to tell Pimp the Lion's lost when he's not even here? Fax him. They seem to be doing great regardless, but just lost the cool bigger budget studio shows. Yeah. That is a bummer. I had no idea those were connected. But yeah, if you want to kill a bunch of time, go ahead and watch Game Changer. They're hysterical. So I definitely need those pieces to connect. I'm going to bring that down to there. And then up. Oh, shit. I thought I was on the... I thought I was, like, on the actual side view so that it wouldn't slide off axis, and I was not. Gotta keep things in line here. There we go. And yep, that's kind of in the ballpark. Didn't College Humor lose a ton of money after Meta lied about the amount of traffic they got when making Facebook content? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's why the rebrand. I don't know. I mean, it feels like Dropout is just what College Humor is called now. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Some entertainment companies went bankrupt from that. That was like 5 years ago. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Oh, it is just Dropout now. Oh, okay, so then it was a rebrand to get away from that PR nightmare. Yeah, because they still mention, like, College Humor sketches, you know, like in I don't know, just like in reference to old stuff they did together. So yeah, I guess that's what they did. Well, and the guy who runs Game Changer, Sam Reich, his dad's a congressman, right? Pretty sure. Don't even think it was PR. They were absolutely the victim. It's more an evolution. Like, they don't do as much written sketch and skit stuff. Oh, okay. So it was a rebrand for, like, regular rebrand reasons. Down there, and then I should be able to just excuse me, I should be able to just, thank you, there we go. Doink those two together. We should be able to do a clean connection here. This is interesting because I kind of shortcut these plate separations, so there's a little bit of, you know, groove here that's kind of up to me. So I'm a little unsure. It should be covered, right? Because this part from the previous one will notch into it, and if I'm looking at it right, that should hit it, you know, it'll hit it like right about here. So I only need to make it down to about there, where this starts to disappear. And I want to nest it in pretty far, right? Because I don't want a huge amount of, like, I guess dexterity. I don't know. I don't want it to be able to rotate much at any one joint. It's just going to be a bunch of segments. Found the telescope manual. Time for some research on phone adapters. Good luck, Melody. Hey, Pimp. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Okay, that's going in the right direction. Yeah, bad news about the Lions. Sorry to hear it, Pimp. Okay, I'm actually going to, because that's how this one was done, this line right here, going all the way up. I actually skipped and did this panel first, and then just bisected that after it was done. So let me just do that. Let's see. Oh, you know what I need? Hold on a second. Let me get an adapter piece for my mouse. And probably some water. Stand by. I'll be 1 second. There we go. Seems straightforward enough, only fiddly bit is getting the correct lens lined up while keeping the phone secure. Oh, yeah, but I guess after you get it... Well, yeah, because you've got lens after lens after lens there. Okay, what do I have programmed to 0? I should have... There we go. So, since I don't have a D-pad, I got a mouse that has a 12-key panel on the side of it. It's that modular one from Razer. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's too much. Like, I probably should have just gotten one with the 12-key on the side. But... What did I say? Did I say D-pad? I said D-pad, oh my god, of course. Whatever, same thing. Yeah, so the mouse has a 12 key on the side, so I can still have frame selected. You'll let it slide, it's late, thank you. It is Extra Gamer. And it's me. You didn't have to add that part. You could have not said that. I mean, it's accurate, but you didn't need to say it. That's all I'm saying. Nope, 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 nope. There we go, just like that. There we go, that's working for me. Yeah, it is starting to get a little late, isn't it? But my shift tomorrow is reasonably short. So... How many s'mores could I eat if that was a whole meal? Yeah, Blender does love its shortcut buttons. How many s'mores could I eat if that was a whole meal? Like, if a s'more was the size of a whole meal, how many s'mores could I eat? Or how many could I eat if that was all I was eating and I had nothing else with it? Option 1 or 2. Oh, how many make a meal? I see. 6. 7? How many duck-sized s'mores? S'mores are really rich, probably 5 to 7. Yeah, see, there you go. That's more or less where I was at. You feel like you could eat a lot more than 7? I feel like I could. I should say I have. But that doesn't mean that, like, that's a meal. You know what I mean? Like, if you're asking me what makes a full meal, probably like 7. If I was gorging myself, I could eat 10 or 12 of them, probably. Used to be a lot more. These days, though, if I eat a lot of sugar, I start to feel sick. I believe I've been told that happens as you age, which of course I wouldn't know because I don't age, but you know, if you were trying to relate. feel like this needs to be tightened up a little bit also. Does the kind of duck matter? You're assuming it's those long graham crackers that break in half to make square sandwich buns. Yes, Honeywell graham crackers. Right? Isn't that the brand? That's what the little voice in the back of my brain is telling me they were called. Yeah, those are decently sized crackers. Like that's, I don't know. That's like a third of the size of a like standard sandwich bread sandwich. Or sandwich bread slice, I guess I could have said. But what's the fun in saying it like that? Okay, are we coming through in the right spot? Feels like we are, actually. I kind of like that alignment. And this should take us to, let me see. There's a weird thing that happens here. It's more of a slider than a burger or a cracker. Yeah, I would say that's fair. It's a sort of dessert slider. Well, it's sort of a dessert melt in like constitution, but a dessert slider in form. If you varied the flavors of everything, you could eat a lot more. Is that in response to something? Because if it is, I'm missing a message. Some milk chocolate, some dark, some non-choco caramel. Oh, see, I wouldn't even need you to do that. It would be much more about, like, my frame of mind entering the Thunderdome. Excuse me. Oh, you think variety would make you feel less sick? That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I don't know if that's necessarily how my body works, but I could see if it's more just an overwhelming thing. I think I, like, physically react to the amount of sugar. Thank you. Thank you. You have returned my soul to my corpus with your well wishes. Okay. Not bad at all. And then all I have to do is make the tail cap, which is one solid piece with a little fleshy underbelly. Like, it's a very simple shape, to the point where I'm not even going to sculpt it out in 3D, or in VR. I'm just going to make it straight in Blender. This feels like I have wandered off course. Or rather, course has wandered off of me. And in indeed I am correct. There we go. Scrooge that down a little bit, rotate it. Not quite as much. Scale that back out. And the same. And bring that up to there, I think. Should be the right spot. Right? Yes. Yeah, it needs to connect to this one here. So, one there to match that. Then, oops. Then one all the way up to, I guess the moon. Wait, hold on. There we go. Scale that in just a bit. See, now I want s'mores. I don't think that was very fair to do to me. Feels like manipulation. And then this, we know we can connect all the way down, and then we just have to run a split up that line. I like these little hidden sections because I can really just cut corners. How did I mess up the first panel? Whatever. There. Now it's connected. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Definitely has the right energy. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Okay. So let's connect some dots here. Gotta be that one to that one. Oh, and then there's another one that I need to cut in half. That's what happened. That explains my confusion. Okay, then we can go ahead and do that, which should connect it straight up to... Oh, sure. I mean, I guess... Okay. There we go. Okay, then that comes all the way around to here. And we can face those. Face those and face the... Okay. I will appease you, shape demon. Oh, what the fuck? Austin, language on YouTube. You're not supposed to do that. It is against the law. Okay, now that should do a normal face, right? Good. Okay, and I think we still want to kind of just pull this whole thing back, I think. There we go. That feels pretty good. Okay. Let's see. So that's another one we split. So I think the right one for me to continue is this one. Oh, this gets really weird. This is a tough panel to do, though. It has this odd little fold over, you know, where the corners kind of taper. That makes it not as straightforward. The rest of these are just kind of warpy rectangles. This one's just a little bit cattywampus. Okay, so what if I do that and that and that? But yeah, with Game Changer, I just got to their COVID seasons, and they had Giancarlo Esposito on as a guest star, which is like crazy. I like where this is going. Just like that. And over like that. Nice. Yeah, so after my brother's PC gets here, which may be, you know, somewhat delayed, because we're supposed to be heading that way in the summer, because Emily's friend has a wedding. So I might just get it while we're there and then carry it back with me on the plane. But if I do decide to have him ship it, then I'll have that a little bit sooner, and I'll be able to do VR on stream finally without choppiness and nausea. Because all I'll have to do is feed the signal to the second machine. So that would be excellent if that proves to be true. Because I'm like, what am I doing in VR sculpting right now? I'm working on the map for Everbound. And I did play around with some more Megalomania creatures. Or some more Everbound creatures. Beyond the one we're futzing with here. I want to redesign the Fire Dragon. It just doesn't look burly enough. I want it to be a little more brutish looking. So I'm probably going to do that one over again. I'm still extremely happy with how the Leviathan looks. gotta get rid of, because, I mean, does that even matter where it is at this point? No. So let's just get rid of that and make this solid so that I can see what I'm doing. This is a weird corner to get around. This is not a pleasant part of the mesh, but it'll make this corner look quite a bit nicer. That back a little bit, rotate it like that. Yeah, something in that ballpark. I wanna redesign the fire dragon. Oh, hey there, Alex. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're working on the Leviathan today. Big monstrous beast. Yeah, this is the monster head that we've got so far. Just waiting for the nephew to wake up and have his last bottle before bed. Yeah, the Leviathan, I'm pretty happy with it. How's Cameron doing? Still sleeping well? Or have we cycled back to short nights? Snoozing. That's good. Let's see. I am a little bit worried about how dense the edges are on this side of the panel, because there's one on like on the forearm claw that's, it kind of gets a weird pinching look that like it's almost like it has a crease in it when there isn't one, and it's hard to smooth out without changing the shape too much. Short nights are coming back. Oh god, the next two teeth. Uh-oh. Well, I wish you luck with that. That doesn't sound exciting. I mean, it's exciting that he's getting teeth. I hear that's supposed to happen. Yeah, I was thinking about working on some of the comic book pages for the stream tonight, but I thought the better of it. I still don't want to do that on stream. And I need a break from all of the dots anyway. So I have pivoted to this because I've been putting off going back to the Leviathan anyway. Alex, I was just talking about your computer. I'm going to try to use it to... Oh god, that needs to connect all the way over here. Alright, night Alex. See you later. I do think that's going to make a really big difference, though, to be able to have that for streaming, like, VR and some of the games that are a little more intense for my computer to handle. It would be nice to have all of that, you know, a little easier to work with. Well, and then maybe some VR games would actually be worth it. Because right now, they don't really feel like they are. Okay, that connects there, and then I guess if I just rotate this a little bit, maybe I can just link those up. It's not great. Hold on. Let's try pulling this face out a little bit. And then connecting to there. And then at least this can close up nicely. Start moving back down the line that way. Does that form a decent end? Those are really bad polygons. Because it feels like I could close this up like that. But then I end up with a fiver here. And I don't want that to be there. So that should connect to here. Right, because this is another one. Let's just get this split down the line. Okay. Oh crap. There and there. Get the meat section out of the way. I am looking forward to getting a short shift tomorrow. My most recent ones have all been a bit long for my taste. I mean, it's nice. It's good to have the hours, but it's been several 11 or 12 hour shifts in a row. So I'm looking forward to this one's going to be 6.5, 7, something like that. So that'll be a nice change of pace. That's terrible, but I'm gonna leave it. Because it does the job well enough. Try not to overthink it, you know? If I can make stuff that works for the game, you know, and it's at least an easier to work with resolution, then I'm not going to stress about it, you know? Just doesn't seem worth it. Because I can always change models out later and try to make things better, and you know, there'll always be opportunities to do stuff like that. I mean, on one hand, I'd like to subdivide this, and on the other hand, I'm going to. Let's do 2. Right, because then I can go from there to, nope, to here. I don't know if that technically counts as a good polygon, but we're going to be okay with it. At least Pow World is an example of a small team making a big world in UE5. Only took them 5 years-ish. Yeah. Yeah, but, you know. I'm stubborn. And I know it'll take a long time. So, we'll just cross our fingers. And believe. I do like the sculpt of I've been calling it a hardscape, like I'm making a terrarium or something. That I have for Relius so far. It's looking pretty good. It's in the ballpark of what I'm wanting it to look like. I still have a lot of ground to cover, but mainland is pretty much done at that level of detail. I need to go in, I think, one more level of detail for the actual ground, just to add some, you know, I don't know, there are still some crevices that I think I would like to step in one more level for. But the first area, I'm only going to do that one region at a time as I work on stuff, rather than trying to take on the whole map. So I'm doing the whole map at like a slightly lower level of detail, like what would render in the distance, basically. And then I'll do a higher resolution one area by area. And there's a small fishing village just south of the central city that is going to be the starting area, at least for current versions of the game. And I'm going to work on that area first. I feel like this is kind of working. freeze on me. I mean, that's okay. There we go. That's a plate. I feel pretty good about that. Okay. I think that's going to be our most difficult panel for tonight. The next one we're going to do is the one off to just the second one down. I guess it doesn't really matter because it's mirrored. I was going to say to the right, but either or. Okay, so we're going to turn that off and turn these on. And I think that's going to work very nicely. How much longer am I on for? I don't know. A little while yet. I'm not really tired. At least another hour. Also, welcome. I presume you had some good rest? Can't sleep, so company is good. Well, good. Here we are. What am I sculpting? I am working on a lower poly retopo of this monster that I've been making. Hold on, let me show you. There's his head. So this is like a big giant sea monster for a video game that is probably going to take me an eternity to make, but I'm chipping away at little bits at a time here. How you doing, Bardock? So yeah, there's the boy. And oh, this is gonna be. Don't make a mess. Don't. I spilled some water on my keyboard, so I'm just trying to pick it up without pressing too many buttons. There we go. Okay, so we can turn that off. We can turn our reference sculpt back on. So this is the sculpt that I am working off of that I did in Medium, which is a VR sculpting program. And hopefully, my brother, well, not hopefully, my brother will be sending me a new, his old computer that I'll use to be a streaming machine, and then I'll be able to stream the VR sculpting part of the process as well. But right now my computer can't handle running the VR program and the stream at the same time, so I'll need an additional machine to make that work. Okay, we got that. Flatten it out a little bit. And then rotate it like that. to the front and nice and flat. Perfect. Or, well, yeah, perfect adjacent. Hold on. It can be perfect. It will be perfect. How long have I been using Blender for? I don't know, quite a while. I initially read that as Blender 4, like version 4. But quite a while. I don't know. I first started using Blender when I was like a little kid. And I'm 28 now. 29 next month. But I just kind of mess with it here and there. Like, I've probably used it more in the last 2 or 3 years than I did in all the time before. But I had messed around, like, you know, I taught myself how to animate in 3D in this program. And all of that was just, you know, trial and error stuff. So I wouldn't say I'm like an expert in the software, but I know my way around. And we want a mirror modifier. Centered on the meat. So we want to stretch that down to here. Like I said, this one should be a lot easier than the last one. But there's still the element of it being like on its side. The nice thing is this is such a weird shape that I don't think it makes too much of a difference one way or the other. So we boop-a-doop. Just like that. And we're going to be okay with that width. It's a little bit chunkier than it actually is on that edge, but again, everything's like super rounded in a way that we can't really match without putting too many pieces on here. Alrighty, let's see. I guess we just, doesn't really matter where we start from. That one's the better of the two, because then we can skip one and go to here, and skip one and go to here. Because this doesn't, it's not actually, you know, the center. We actually have a center piece, which I didn't on the other one, because you need a line right up the center of the mesh so that it can fuse. Since these parts are on opposite sides of the body segment, they don't need to be able to fuse to each other. So that is another thing that simplifies things. I can get a little squirrely with my positions, and it doesn't really matter too much because I don't need to have things be perfectly aligned to each other. So that much is nice. Gonna drag that out to here. If I can get it all the way to where this crease is. Again, we don't super care that it cuts into the mesh like that. That's not really a concern. What is really our chief concern is can I do this just in as few polygons as possible? So something like that, I think. Maybe bring it up a bit. And then back in. There we go. Wait for it, and warp. Okay, so I'll need some more separation on these. We've got 1, 2. Do I want to try and work this over so that this is the first ridge, and that one's the second, and the other one's the third, and then I can just cut it down from there? That might be what I want. So if I just take all of these and stretch them this way a little bit, we can kind of work our way up to it until we're starting to hit that edge, and then I have to go through here and kind of just coax it out into the position we need. Okay. Oh, this is gonna work. Yeah, this will totally work. Perfect. And I'll even let this come down just a little bit. Let the other one spread out a little more, you know? Just like that. What happened? Why am I inside the monster? There we go. There we go. And I think that's about as far as we need to take it. I can pop that back this way and then just line up right like that. Perfect. There we go. Kind of tilt that down a little bit. Let's pull that away. Let's see how this looks. Which I'm not gonna mince words. It looks weird. I don't know if the angles of that quite work the way I want them to. I guess they're mostly there. We'll see. I'm not convinced yet, but we're gonna keep at it. I'm wondering if I should swing through the Nintendo store and I want to see if they're still selling. Emily's asleep. I don't think she can hear me. And get her. We usually just get each other something small for birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. And she wanted that Korok pillow that they had at the Nintendo store. I was thinking I might get that for her birthday. I'm completely safe talking about this here because she does not watch my content at all. So we're good. Right, wouldn't that be nice? I think that'd be fun. She talked about it a couple of times now, and she usually gets herself stuff that she wants. So it's not like it's like a hint or anything. I think she just hasn't wanted to spend the money on herself for that, which to me is like exactly what a gift is supposed to be. So it's the treat you would have got yourself if you'd been just a little more indulgent. Yeah, it's well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just just a little something, something. You know. And for some people, that's not important. Is it harder to learn Blender or to learn how to code? And if I had to choose, which one do I think would be more beneficial to learn? No, you're welcome to ask questions, Bardock. No problem at all. My answer might not be super satisfying because it's a big ol' it depends, but I can elaborate. What's going to be more useful to you is really going to be the one that you enjoy more, because both have a lot of different options in terms of like freelancing and actual work. If you're looking for like a job, coding is probably going to be the better avenue to go. If you're looking for just like what's more helpful in creative projects, it's more what kind of projects are important to you. Blender is, you know, is primarily for art. Like you can use it for 3D modeling for like 3D printing and architectural design and stuff like that, but that's not really what it's for. Coding, especially, you know, depending on what language you use, can have a lot of applications beyond just creative stuff. It can be, you know, something that's useful for, like, well, I mean, like, you know, data management and logistics applications, and, you know, it's just stuff like that, and, you know, app development outside of, like, video games and stuff like that, and, you know, so it's probably a broader net to cast. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick Blender. But that's just because sculpting and, like, you know, weird to say more physical since it's on a computer, but definitely more physical than coding. So more physical art is kind of more important to me personally. So if I had to give up one, I would give up coding. But I would much rather have my cake and eat it too. I would like to be able to do both. So yeah, good question. Hope I at least kind of answered. There we go. That's working for me. We're not going to start connecting those yet. Oh, I guess I didn't answer the first part of your question, which is it harder to learn? It's definitely harder to learn to code. But that could be more rewarding in, like, career applications. So I suppose I should say that's not from first-hand experience, though. Like, I don't program professionally, aside from, like, I've done a little bit of, like, just basic, like, spreadsheet automation and like a couple of training software applications that I've done freelance over the years. So very, very minimal. You don't think anyone has learned all of Blender? Modeling, sculpting, rigging, animation, textures, well, and 2D. Yeah. There's a lot in Blender, but I would say the same could be said about learning to code, right? But I would take the spirit of the question to be like, which one takes longer for you to, like, have your bearings, you know? But for sure, yeah, you're absolutely right. Blender goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So there's not really a beginning or end to learning how to use it. But, you know, that can be an allure to a lot of people. Start with fundamentals, learning way around the program, just branching out to what you want. There are a lot of resources, so it's approachable. Oh no, I didn't think you were trying to disagree. I'm just yammering. I'm trying to approach the problem as multi-sided, because it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison, really. But I'm still trying to answer the question. Coding can also be approachable. Coding websites is lots of fun, even if people don't think it's real coding. It's absolutely real coding. HTML is its own beast, but it is absolutely coding. Learning anything is hard without discipline and community and motivation, etc., etc. That's true, yeah. And while I'm not always consistent about making content, this is a great place to talk about that kind of stuff and share your struggles. Because we got lots of folks here that like to make stuff. And even more still that like to talk about making stuff. And how they and other people make stuff. And the stuff of makings. Okay, I think I made it through. You write fanfics? Oh, right on. I think you've mentioned that once or twice. But we haven't talked about it a bunch. How long have you been doing that, Rose? The closest I ever came to writing a fanfic is in school. They had us write spec scripts, which is not a thing that people even really do anymore in the entertainment industry, as far as I'm aware. Like, it's not really an accepted way to get your foot in the door these days. But a spec script is basically you take if you take an existing show and write your own episode of it. And I think I did one for Rick and Morty. And that was back in like 20. What would that have been? I graduated college in 2017. So it would have been like 2015. Around the time Emily and I got together. That's all you do for making stuff, been writing your whole life, but only recently started writing for fandoms and posting on a fanfic site. No, that's really fun to do. I mean, it's good art. It's it's good for the brain, and it's really interesting what people can come up with. I know some people like to keep what they fanfic about to themselves, but if you're interested in sharing, I'd love to hear what you've been working on. Do I remember the Rick and Morty episode I wrote? What was the conflict resolution to it? Yeah, they wanted us to do something that, like, um, the prompt was to, like, break the rules of the story, but also keep it connected to the existing story. Like, try not to just write a basic episode of the show. Was basically the prompt. And so back then, I mean, they've kind of done some time travel stuff now, but back then they hadn't really done anything, and there was kind of the running joke that they would never do anything time travel related. So I wrote an episode about Rick having a red portal gun in his in that box labeled time travel stuff, and they've also actually since started doing like pulling back old villains and characters and stuff, but back then they didn't do that either. So I pulled out Zeeb Xanthorpe, the one that Colbert plays in the Microverse Battery episode, and I had him get his hands on the time travel battery, or the time travel portal gun, and I'm trying to remember where it went from there. I believe his objective was to I had it worked out somehow, I believe, where he thought eliminating Morty would solve his problem, but I can't for the life of me think of how I would have connected that. Like making it so that Rick and this Morty never got together was the concept. But you know, it was just an assignment for school. I did like what I wrote. Like I'm not trying to shirk away from that or anything. But that's more to say that I don't like fully remember everything that I wrote because it was written hastily for a deadline for class. But I'm still waiting for them to bring back Zeeb Xanthorpe. The thing is just that, you know, I don't think Colbert's doing much voice acting these days. Like, after he got this show, he disappeared from BoJack Horseman also. Do I think AI will take over coding? It's not as good right now, but the AI art is showing that it can replace artists. I don't actually agree with that statement. And you think coders have their years numbered. I think that's more hype than anything else. Things like ChatGPT and oh god, I'm blanking on the name of the DALL-E 3, and that's still not the image generation algorithm that I'm trying to think of. But anyway, they're mostly a pretty clever magic trick. Like, they're not as generative as they... Yeah, Midjourney, thank you. They're not as generative as they advertise themselves to be. It's more regenerative, you know? And in order for them to replace artists, they'd need to be able to keep running without having artists' work to ingest. And that's just not the state of affairs. Like, they're not capable of that. They can't do stuff on their own. They need real artwork to ingest in order to make stuff. So I'm not scared of those things. They're interesting and they'll be useful tools. But they're not replacing artists anytime soon. And as for coding, I think it's still pretty hit and miss. That could change. I don't know. I guess of the two, I would say that's more likely, because it's a set of rules, right? That seems like something that a computer could maybe ingest a little more readily than something as open-ended as art. Tools don't replace artists, companies replace artists. Also true, yes. But truthfully, I don't even think that companies are capable of replacing an artist with these particular tools quite yet. I mean, they've done it in small little ways, but it shows and hasn't been received extremely well. And, they probably will in little places. The thing that it'll disrupt is the ladder to get into professional artwork, because the little jobs that it is capable of doing are the jobs that early artists take in order to get into the business. So that is potentially problematic. The ones that tried have flopped for it, yes. Yes. But, yeah, everyone a good laugh, just ask AI art how to draw a handshake, seriously. Although, to be fair, also ask me. I still need some work on my hands. They're a lot better, though. Last year I learned that the Luddites were super cool and textbooks just lie about what they were. That's extremely believable. You would love to see me try to draw a handshake or a bicycle? Well, I am a very clever AI, but not quite that clever. I can detect which of these 4 photos are stoplights, though. What I really want is just a really good AI assistant. Like, and I don't want it to be AI. Like, I'm not looking for, a robot slave. That's not what I want. Because I'm personally of the opinion that if you actually do manage to make artificial consciousness, then immediately you don't get to tell it what to do anymore, because it's a people now. You failed a bot test the other day? The pictures were too blurry to tell what was in them. Rose, I'm pretty sure if you weren't a bot, they wouldn't have been so blurry, so I think it's maybe just time to face facts. They were like, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences are a disaster for the human race. While the Industrial Revolutions were happening, truly Cassandras of their time. Maybe your visual processors were malfunctioning. Exactly. It's known to happen. All you have to do is just push your right finger to your left temple and then tap yourself on the forehead. And then your visual sensors should reset. I'm not an expert, but I am trained in self-bot repair. Not because I'm a bot, of course. Don't think you need glasses anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the little glitches in the matrix. Where should I connect that? Oh yeah, we're going the right way. Okay. So we want to go kind of like that. And then that. We can kind of get an idea of where we're at here. Just kind of squooch that in there. Squooch is a patent pending, unenlightened co. I'm the only one that's allowed to use that word. That is my intellectual property. And you're not allowed to touch it until Steamboat Willie is in the public domain. He what? Alright, then my new rule is you can't use it until the last living descendant of the King of England has passed away. So guys, Steamboat Willie will never be public domain. Okay, I think that's decent. Is that a good loop? Whenever we have a good loop, that's when I start feeling confident that this is actually going to look like something. I also think those little fins turned out pretty decent. They're not as pronounced as I would have hoped, I have to say, but that's not bad. We can fix that with a normal map. Make those look a little more established. The edges are correct. We're edging properly. Oh, the last Airbender TV show stuff is looking promising. Is that shade smooth or auto smooth? It is smooth. Should we try auto smooth? Oh, see, but then that's too sharp. That's just bothersome to look at. Okay, and then we want to just keep up with what we got here. We'll have to do some subdivides to make this work, but that's fine. Okay. And then like that. I want that to be like all the way up there. And then we want this one to be kind of halfway between the two. And I'll realign that a little bit. There we go. That feels better. We can bring this over here and face those two. And I'm just going to subdivide that and bring it out. Okay. That feels like an okay start. And we can just boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay, and then we need to do the same down at the end here. But this one is weird. So was it just that last strip that I did? It is, isn't it? That's super weird. Okay. I'm looking for a new comic to read. One of my friends at work has been telling me to check out the new Batman line. Well, and she knows her shit. And she showed me a couple of pages of what she was reading. It looked pretty fun. I told her she doesn't read much Marvel, so I told her that if she was looking for something, you know, broody, and she wanted to try some Marvel, that Immortal Hulk is a great story, which it is. I love that comic. Read the whole thing. But I've been looking for something else, and she tells me I should be reading Batman. So, I guess that's what I'm going to do. Your brain tells you that you should have a recommendation, but you don't know any comics. Just like guess something, you know, just throw something out there. Just because you have a recommendation doesn't mean it's a good one, you know? Doesn't mean it's thought out. It could just be a feeling. I'm all for vibes-based recommendations. Batman is your favorite Marvel comic? I'm not taking your bait. No, I'm just not the type to be upset by that. I'm sorry to let you down. The whole Marvel DC feud is meaningless to me. There are some things that are better about each of them, and that fluctuates from writer to writer, and, you know, decade to decade. So it doesn't really, I don't know. It's just people like to have their fights for the same reason people like to talk about power scaling in anime. Like it's sporting, you know? I'm sorry. What I meant to say is, how dare you insult my precious multimedia franchise that defines who I am and the only things that I actually care about in the real world. I have isolated myself from reality, and this is all that matters to me. And you have bothered to simplify and belittle these characters, which I so hold dear. And for that, it's the guillotine with you. But it's like a Star Trek themed guillotine. You're welcome, Rose. I got you. I gotta supply that tantrum when you ask for it. You recently learned that in Argentina the Flash was called the Flush because they already had a magazine called the Flash. I don't think that's a good enough reason. I feel like there's a much better. I mean, there's so many options that aren't the Flush. Also, I feel like that's a better alternate name for Aquaman. Oh, that's not right. I don't like how this looks either, but just bear with me. Oh, this is not good. This needs at least one subdivision here. What about guy who runs really fast? No, we're charging by the letter here. We can only change one. Yeah, well, the problem was they just had to have one guy go through on every single comic, and they just went with a red Sharpie, okay? And they colored out the A, and then they hand drew in a U. And doing any more than that would have been extremely pricey. I know, I'm revealing trade secrets here, which I really shouldn't be doing. I signed that NDA. Of course, in their building, it's an NDU. Thank you. I believe that was the last brain cell I had to offer for the evening. How is this still not lining up? I spent it on a good cause. It feels like I threw it into a wishing well. Oh, it's just kind of skewed. That's okay. Seems later in the comics they had a kid talk to Flash calling him the Flush. And he was with other heroes, and all he said was, "I'll explain it later." Okay, that's kind of awesome. I'm a fan of that. Okay, and this shouldn't have connected, and you can see the weird shading. Yep, you're not fooling me with that bullshit. Alright, hold on. Sure, why not? Okay, and then we'll take that all the way to here, and just kind of, Where? Okay, that's a bit too close, but thank you. Okay, and does that match up nicely with the top panel? I would say it's pretty good. I think we could bring them out to meet each other just a little bit more, maybe? If I just kind of... Whoa! It did not like that. Does that really need to be redone, though? Or is that okay? I feel like that's okay. I know it does weird stuff when I zoom out far. Try not to pay attention to that. Like, does it look a little PlayStation 2? Yes, but that's also because it has no texture on it. Like, it'll look better with proper lighting and texture, and I need to remember that. Okay. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna run to the restroom. And then I think, do we only have one more panel left? Or do I have two left? I have two left. So we'll do the third one. I don't know if we'll do the fourth one tonight, but we'll do the third one. And I am going to try to do more of these. I'm usually up late doing artwork. I'm still deciding whether or not I want Megalomania to be on stream, and I've been working pretty hard on that, which is why I haven't done any of those. But I still have that line work to do. I'm probably going to be doing that Tuesday night, so I might flip on the stream for that. This is not me shutting down. I'm just starting to get tired, so my brain's kind of firing off in random directions now. So give me just a hot second, and I will be right back. I'm back. Apparently Melody has been shut out of the chat somehow. But she messaged me, so we have Melody via direct message now. And thank you. The little tusk thingies are kind of legs. They're appendages. Like they have, you know... I don't know, it's supposed to make it look kind of millipede-like when you have all of those segments one after another. Thank you. Yeah. That's what you get for not checking Discord. This monster modeling session has just been so entrancing. I understand. And give it the right tilt. And pop that right about there. Oh, hey! Melody found a way back into the chat. So what was the problem? You switched devices? Good work, Rose. Oh, stuck typing from your phone. Well, that is annoying. I mean, hence Samsung Land, but we know where we're at right now. I'm mindless parroting. Rose came through? What'd you do, Rose? How'd you solve the problem? Are you the Samsung phone? Big reveal. Rose has been a phone this whole time. It's too late at night for original thought. Mindless parroting works. That's good. That's good. Because that's what I just did. Give me 1 second. So weird. Something smelled like burning rubber. It must be coming from out the window. Oh, she noticed you in Discord and suggested phone. Yeah, good call, Rose. Problem solved. It closes the keyboard after every message and doesn't capitalize the start. is brutal. I'm tempted to just, like... It's not a solution, Austin. What was about to come out of my mouth was use Discord as chat for all things stream, and that is just downright stupid. Be tempted? I don't think that's a plan that really works. YouTube has some catching up to do with Twitch on the mobile front. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, hopefully they'll do it. But... What a dastardly plan. Thank you. I'm out here breaking down barriers. Reaching new horizons. If no one noticed you by the next half hour, you're gonna call my phone. I probably would have had a heart attack. Nobody ever calls me this late at night. No one wants that? I surely hope not. That would be devastating news for me. To find out there's like some secret coalition trying to come up with ways to give me a heart attack. You want that for others, pimp? But not me, right? I want to really double down on that. Calling Austin at 3 a.m. He picked up. Someone calls you that late, it's either an emergency or it will be. If you're not bleeding yet, you will be soon. Calling Austin at 3 a.m. challenge. Don't call Austin at 3 a.m. Not clickbait. This one simple trick will make anyone hate you. Spam their phone anytime after 2 a.m. It would be mean to Emily. That's true, because normally I would say there's not a chance she would hear you. Because she's got bipolar, and the medicine she's on for that knock her the fuck out. But the dog would hear you and go apeshit. And that would wake her up. calling Lola at 3 a.m. challenge. No, her cell phone privileges end at 9:30. Pretty sure it's in the vows though, in sickness and in health and in prank calls. That's okay though. No vows yet. You know, we're outside of that window still. Nothing's been vowed. Although we are talking to a venue on Tuesday. Back in California, so that'll be convenient for the rest of the family. Makes more sense for just us to travel than to make everyone else travel. You definitely just hit me with the car's extended warranty spiel. You'd have to get through the part where I'm dying on the floor of a heart attack. Like, before you finished saying we've been trying to reach you, I'd be, like, foaming at the mouth on the floor. Does his heart have an extended warranty? That's the important part. That's what the vows are for. In sickness and in health and in perpetuity or for the next 55 years. At that point, you can switch over to a life insurance field. This is good. If you or a loved one have been, I don't know. The joke there is too boomer humor. If you or a loved one have suffered injuries as a result of marriage, you may be due financial compensation. Like, the joke is there. Okay, is that working? Yes. That is working. Okay, but we don't want to be at that angle. We want to be slightly off of it. Who is it supposed to connect with? Oh, we have wandered far, my friends. Come on, work with me here. Oh, wait, is that line not real? What the hell? What? Oh, that's just the point where it hits the mesh. I see. That was really confusing. Try to bring this in just a little bit, just smooth out that the shape of that panel. But I think I like how that's going. Oh. And I do still want to take a crack at an Among Us game, but I think rather than putting out a general post this time, I'm just going to ask people directly if they want to do it. Because I think that'll be easier to, like, actually get an answer from people. Oh, we did have several people respond. Sus. Only slightly sus. And we could try to do it maybe a little bit earlier in the day so that you know, so that everybody has a chance to join. We did get responses, but it fell apart when it came to the time of day commitment. Right, there was kind of a split vote. Yeah, and then my internet died on the day anyway, so. I think one thing will be to try to do it earlier in the day. But I'll message people and see what we can figure out here. Well, this is a bit weird. I think that's going to end there. And then I'll have a little extra piece pop out from that. Like just extrude out kind of a tube from the end of the mesh there. All the responses were Saturday night except you said Sunday night also worked. Oh, okay, so then that part was fine. I seem to have... Okay, hold on. But I do know that I knew that at least somebody wanted to do it earlier in the day. Oh, yeah, of course. Hermit. A Honkai Star Rail ad? What is that? Oh, another gacha game from the Genshin Impact people. I see. I need to have my late night snack. I'm starting to get hungry. Usually a bologna sandwich, or lately a slice of bologna rolled up into a tortilla. Beef bologna, specifically. Because even though it's not true, I choose to believe that means that it's more real meat than your average bologna. Again, no reason whatsoever to suspect that, but I choose to anyway. I like a few Ritz crackers with a slice of Kraft cheese melted on them. Ooh, that, dare I say, sounds ritzy. So I'm going to turn on the full model and cook that s'more over my GPU. It can handle the model that we have in here now. Remember we went through that whole process of just doing the resurface modifier or whatever it is. So now we have it. Hold on. Yeah. Even if we do the big budget one. Ugh, there we go. There it is. There's that beautiful beast. Decimate. That's the one. Thanks, Corey. You've been sneaking in tries still. You promised you were going to stop doing that. You said I wouldn't have to institute an embargo. If it has to happen, I'm going to do it. I think this shape fits better with our current meat. Okay. So I want to cap this off. Oh, I know it's been a long time since we were speaking of Game Changer, but speaking of Game Changer, Brendan Mulligan had a baby, or rather, his wife did. The pay is too good. Crime doesn't pay. Who is funding you, damn it? I need to know the truth. Who's your supplier? Yeah, I know that there was an early episode of Game Changer where it was the lie detector episode, and one of the truths was that what Brennan wants most in the world is to be a dad. So, seems like he's probably quite happy right about now. That's how I feel about my brother. My brother has always been dad material. So it's great that he's getting to be that to the fullest now. And great news from a little nephew. Ironically, it's Unity. Who would have thought, at the end of all this, they'd be the one giving out money? Oh. Yeah. 30 cents per triangle. That, or there's a separate charge every time you place a vertex. And if you pick up and move a vertex, that's an additional charge. Oh no. Is there a face on there? There's not supposed to be a face on there. Oops. Surely it would be every time me or another user loads my model. True, fair enough, you got me there. Try and just bring those out to a point. Oh, it's so weird. I keep having this recurring dream. You know how when you have, I don't know, maybe this doesn't happen to everybody, but I feel like it probably does. When you have a recurring dream and when you start to get really tired bits of your dream will like start creeping back into your memory. Does that happen to other people? Like it's easier to remember it when you're really sleepy. I keep having this recurring dream about being in a movie theater. And I feel like it's the theater we had in my film school that I went to. And it kind of feels like they're showing something I made, except, well, you know how, again, dreams. Like, it's simultaneously something I made, but I'm worried for my friend. And I don't know why that is. But all that's just, like, coming back into my brain right now, and I feel like I'm still missing a lot of data. It's like the dream world calls you back in to try the dream again. If you do different things, new things will happen, like an open world video game level, except way too many paths lead to death. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right there with me. You get it. Group project drama. And that's the thing, man. Film school was all group projects. I mean, obviously, but also, ugh. And group projects with, like, some of the chattiest chads you've ever met. Like, film people are a lot. Let's just say that. Well, and not to mention half the people you're going to school with are like have parents in the industry, because we went to a pretty good film school. So they had parents in the business, and like, you know, we're basically doing this, like, I don't know, for fun. It was like they were taking a gap year because the jobs were going to be handed to them regardless. And so they're just kind of like fucking off in class, and all the is oh my god. So yes, massive group project trauma. You're amazed at how often you still wake up with a jolt thinking you're late for school and not prepared for the test when you're 33. Yeah, same. Same happens to me. Surely that means what we're doing to kids is good, right? That's what school is supposed to do, cause lifelong trauma. That's how you know you're educating. It's like how mouthwash burns when it's working. You were involved in a few film projects for Jeff, and those were all teens from Oklahoma who thought they could grow up to be directors. Yeah. Yeah, that's a different version of the same crew, you know? So, I feel it. Well, I had some of those people in my high school film class. The guy who, it drives me crazy to this day. He wrote a story with a loop ending. Like, it had a time loop in it. And he wanted to put based on a true story in the credits. I'm like, dude, who do you know who's been through a time loop? And he's like, no, it's not like, you know, it's because, like, stuff like this could happen. And I'm like, are you publishing a paper anytime soon? What the fuck are you talking about? And regardless, if you write based on a true dream I had once, right? I mean, like, what the hell was that? It was so weird. You can't disprove that it happened. You know what? You're right. Maybe the problem was me. Oh my god. Like, the fact that I had to have that conversation with him, because it involved like a guy coming home from war, I believe, to find his wife cheated on him. It was like, you know, it was basic stuff. I'm not gonna give somebody shit about that, because my thesis project in college was about a school shooting. I was pretty happy with it though. I really liked it. So, like, you know, there are obvious subjects to do things about. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But his guy coming home from war to find he was getting cheated on, like, has that whole realization on the bus on the way home, like, has this, you know, imagines the experience of walking home to find a note and, you know, the house in disarray, and then wakes up from the bus, gets off, walks into the house, and then all of that happens again. And we show all of it. And then it just ends and says based on a true story. I'm like, who do you know that this happened to? And he's like, well, I don't know that, but, you know. I'm like, alright, man. Like, I'm in no place to stop you, but I think people are going to raise an eyebrow. I do think that he eventually did take it off of the project. He was a nice guy. I don't understand what that was. Reminds you of a totally serious presentation you did in senior year about how a zombie apocalypse could really happen, and most of your sources were BuzzFeed articles. Was that a project on how to do proper research? That seems like something they should have you learning senior year. Welcome to your last year of school. Here's how to do your homework. There's a lot of soldiers out there. Statistically, one of them has had to have that experience. Trust me, bro. No, but, like, literally, that was his legitimate argument. Like, you're not... You are 100% on the money. That is almost verbatim what he said to me. You got a good grade. The teacher said it was very thought-provoking. How did the teacher feel about science? What was the subject of this class you were in, Rose? I'm a little worried. A scholarly zombie apocalypse. Indeed. It was a southeastern U.S. school. So I should be concerned? That's what I'm picking up. The class was on college-level psychology. Were you proposing that zombieism would develop as a psychological illness? Or was it on the psychology of that, like, that phenomenon and the obsession with zombies and Psychology and sociology classes were a major blow-off class over there. The point you were trying to make was that the fungus that hijacks ant brains could make people into zombies, and BuzzFeed said it happened once somewhere. Oh, so like basically the plot of The Last of Us. Or not the plot, but the premise. Or setting? Narrative setting. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, but like a decade before it came out. So, okay, so then who was in that class with you that stole the idea from you? Yes, cordyceps indeed. A word I also knew before this moment. Well, I suppose, actually, I did know it before this moment, but not recently. You did it first, you're a revolutionary. Naughty Dog owes you money. And now so does HBO? Netflix? Whoever made the show. The point is I'm suing. Or you're suing, and I'm your lawyer. And I get half. For lawyer fees. We're going to take down Pedro Pascal. And then we're going to take Pedro Pascal out for a very nice dinner. Tweak that a little bit. I really want to make a little 3D print of this guy. And the thing is, like, it feels like there's a lot left to do, but because these are all duplicated, we're actually really, really close. And there's only one part left to make after this, which is that tail. And I know I've said it a few times now, but I need to keep repeating it to myself, or else I will lose control of the situation. I still think I'm going to do Megalomania, at least part of it on stream. I am going to be very careful about what panels I'm willing to show and at what stage of completion. Also, we aren't finishing tonight. Also true. Yes. I don't have to do this all at once. We do this in little bits at a time. And I can sell it at local street fairs like those 3D printed dragon pets. Exactly. And I can say that it'll bring you good fortune, even though that is not really what this guy is about. Have I said his name yet? It's in an article that's going up. I think it's the one that goes up on Thursday. One of my blog posts. But his name is Ether, if I haven't said that already. His actual name. Give them to enemies to curse them. Yes. Tell them that it's a gift. That's definitely the name of benevolent being. Indeed. Good, friendly Ether. Master of the Void. My guardian spirit of darkness. I actually spelled it without the A. Friendly neighborhood void creature. Most ethers you know are good, actually. Well, I spelled it with just the E, so it's a completely different thing. Ether is a potion that restores MP. What is MP? Oh, magic points. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that still tracks. Yeah, that would be about correct. Alright, how do we want to go about this? I still need to keep climbing here. Or is it about time to close that off? PowerPoints. Yes, I do know that one. I am aware of PowerPoints. Okay. Oh, it's time for me to turn into a pumpkin. I have to work at 2:30 tomorrow, and I like to have enough time to get up in the morning and actually do some stuff before I have to start getting ready. So I'm going to disappear for now. But thanks to y'all for hanging out with a little bit of a maker stream over on the YouTube channel. Hopefully I'll be doing more of these. And if you're watching the VOD, more project work to come, comic book to come. Yeah, so stick around and it's going to be a party. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been a blast as always, and I will see you next time. Take care now.